Alright, welcome back. This is Cult of Elections, and happy Thanksgiving. Today we have my prediction for 2024 presidential election, and that's deciding the swing states here. So, context as per usual. I made a video about this about 2 years ago. I wanted to make a new one for two reasons. One, because it's outdated, and two, I went and looked back at that video, and I feel like I made it way too complicated for what it was. We also got some new context from the 2022 elections, so you notice I only have two colors for each. One safe, one, I guess that's the lean color for each party, and then swing. So as I fill in the safe Democrat states here, the dark blue here will be doesn't have a chance at all of flipping, in my opinion. I mean, we can see crazy things happen. Yeah, so we're just gonna say, yeah, it doesn't have a chance at all of flipping for these states. And right off the bat, I'm going to put some in here. Colorado. I think that has just shifted too far. I just cannot see it flipping. It's going to take an insane candidate, an insane shift in the way the population thinks. And we had an absolute moderate go on the Republican side in the Senate, and he still got absolutely decimated. In Colorado, I think that's out of the question. So I'll fill in some safe Republican states, and yes, I'm putting Montana in there. I think the chances for Montana flipping were a bit overrated in 2020. I'm gonna put Kansas in safe, but that's probably the least likely of the safe ones. Yeah, throw Indiana in there. I am going to put South Carolina in there. I'd be genuinely shocked if that flipped. Yes, making sure I haven't forgotten anything. Okay. So, next we're going to do states where I think it's possible they flip, but it's going to take a lot to overcome leads that have been built by the other party there. Okay, California's not a part of that. I knew I was forgetting a state. I knew I was. I knew that state looked kind of weird. Okay, yes. So let's go ahead and do the Democratic ones. I will. Okay, I guess I'll do the more obvious ones here. Minnesota, we've proven it kind of had a 7-point shift between. Here, I'm sorry, a 6-point shift between 16 and 20, but it didn't keep shifting in 2022. Tim Walz did not increase that margin very much, if at all, but I still think it would take a decent bit to overcome. Said in previous videos, I think New Hampshire is a state where a lot of people want it to be a swing state, but we just haven't seen it since 2016. And we're going to throw Maine at large in there, because Trump didn't lose it by all that much in 2020. I would be kind of shocked if that flipped, but it's still a possibility, given the right candidate. Okay. So, next we have New Mexico. You're probably surprised that I hadn't rated that safe blue. I think with the right candidate, it could get tilt Republican, but it's going to take something quite insane. It's borderline safe. So yeah, I am going to throw two more states in this category. I'm gonna start with yeah, it might be an interesting call. I'm going to throw Michigan in that category. I think it's going to be very tough to overcome, even with the smaller margins than, say, other states. Yeah, I think that might... It's an interesting call. It is. But I'm going to throw Michigan in that category, too. And then finally, probably most obviously, I'm going to throw Virginia in that category for Democrats. Yeah, for obvious reasons. I mean, 10 points for Democrats last time around. Aside from Glenn Youngkin, and I think Glenn Youngkin is probably the only one who can flip this, if I'm being completely honest. Although, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. I mean, if I had to put my money on it, I'd put Virginia in my own category like this, too. So, we're going to jump to the Republican side. And I'm going to make something kind of wild here. I'm going to predict Florida is not going to the Democrats in 2024. The shift has been insane. Republicans have appealed to Cuban voters a good amount. I think pandemic time, DeSantis was seen as a champion of anti-lockdown measures, vaccine mandate, whatever it is. A lot of people moved there. We've seen the voter registration shifts go crazy. We saw what happened in 2022, where Florida was safe red by, if you go by 10 points, and personally I go by 15 points, it was safe red in both metrics. I think there is no chance it flips in 2024. No candidate could do it. Barring, something crazy happening. Like a candidate shooting someone on Fifth Avenue, But I don't think that has a chance. So moving on. Stuff that probably doesn't have a chance. You can categorize the same as, these light blue states. Iowa, Ohio, for obvious reasons, didn't shift very much in Trump's second time around. I personally don't see it moving very much again. We're going to throw Alaska in there. I mean, Alaska was about a 10-point race in 2020. They did elect a Democrat into the House this year. But I think that may have been a special sort of one-off thing. Ranked choice voting is interesting, but we can call that the Sarah Palin effect. I think it may stay blue in the House for a while, but yeah, probably red on the presidential level for a while too. And then finally, I'm going to categorize Texas in that. I have said it 2 years ago, but I think based on all the context we have, I think it'll take a lot for Democrats to overcome it. They could do it. But I think with the pandemic, a lot of shifts in population to certain areas happened. Greg Abbott beat Beto O'Rourke by a comfortable margin. And this was after Beto came close to beating Ted Cruz. And he was a very strong candidate in 2018. And I've said it before, I think he sucked dry probably the number of votes he could possibly do in Texas. Still wasn't enough. Maybe in 2028 this could look different, but Texas is like that. So, I don't need to go through each state here. We could go ahead and say, yeah. These states, yes. Swing. swing. I mean, some of them I don't even need to talk about. Nevada, Georgia, Arizona, Wisconsin, Maine 2nd District, Nebraska 2nd District. I guess the only ones worth talking about are probably Pennsylvania, North Carolina, which, you know, it's kind of, it might be considered borderline for each of them. I think if Democrats played more offense in North Carolina, they could have had a slimmer margin this year in 2022. And Pennsylvania, while it has an effect in non-presidential races, for some reason, presidential races these past 2 times around have been much closer. And given the right candidate, such as Glenn Youngkin, again, could easily flip. But, I mean, this is borderline light blue. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. This is just the way I see it for now. And have a happy Thanksgiving. Peace.